Along with the simple fact of raising water rates every single year for 12 years in a row, we're only, 7 years into that, but they've already charted it out, and as Councilmember Spellman, to his credit, has checked the numbers and told you that the out years of roughly 30% more rate increases coming down the road, if you've approved this budget, that's the path you're on, is likely way underestimated. And that you're going to have to raise rates a lot more than that, 75, 100%, when you factor in the fact that people are conserving, they're using less water, in part because you're paying, we're having to pay a lot more, but in large part because we're getting efficient. We know how to save water now. It's cheap to do. And both businesses and residents are being efficient with their water, much more efficient. And there's plenty of room to go. And you've told this water utility that's where you need to go. You're trying to serve two masters at once, and it's an enormous financial waste. And you're robbing the funding for conservation, fixing the old pipes for a plant that dictates water. Now, the other argument you make is, but construction costs are down so low. We got to build it now to save money. Well, how many condo towers that were being fast-tracked a year ago are dead in the water and going nowhere? Now, if construction costs are so low, let's build them towers right now. Doesn't matter that nobody's going to buy them. Well, they'll buy them later. Right? Isn't that the logic? How come the logic doesn't work in that market? Well, they don't have a monopoly buyers. You can shove these rates down our throats. If you want to run this city like a monopolist, which is what you're doing, then, make that argument. But it really holds no water. You're going to save ratepayers a lot of money by just doing one simple thing. Put this plant on hold for 2 years. It won't slow down the ultimate completion of the project a single day. Study your alternatives, adding capacity to our existing plants if and when we need it. Fixing the bottleneck at Davis, which you're doing anyway, instantly gives us 10 MGD extra capacity for no extra money. Do the conservation. Look at rebuilding green, which your own staff has said we can do, rebuild a green plant for $214 to $250 million. Okay? Again, if you just flush $100 million down the toilet on the water plant, you're still saving ratepayers $150 million if you choose to rebuild green instead. That was the official policy of this council for about 1.5 years before the staff and the contractors sabotaged the plan by proposing to build it in Roy Guerrero Park. My last analogy for you is urban rail. Y'all wanted to go forward with urban rail because you thought it was a good idea and you thought the community would agree with you. But you weren't ready. You didn't have the studies. You didn't have the information available so you could make a good judgment on it or the community could make a good judgment on it. And it was going to cost a lot of money. Water Treatment Plant 4 is exactly the same. Greg Mazzaros, the director of your water utility, was quoted in Fact Daily this week saying, we're going to make a decision on the Jollyville transmission main this week. Well, his staff and his consultants are saying, well, our groundwater assessment's going to be finished in October or November. So we're going to decide how and where and when to build the line this week, but our studies aren't going to be done for 2 or 3 more months. This is the gentleman that you're bankrolling on to bring this project in safely, on budget. It doesn't add up. Mr. D'Souza started to go through his list of false claims. There are so many false claims, you can't get them on one slide. This project needs to be rethought. We are in a recession. People can't afford to pay for something we don't really need. We don't need it, and you really could put it on hold completely. I mean, keep doing the studies, some preliminary engineering, fine, but you need a new independent look at your alternatives that are cheaper, that don't risk destroying 20 years of conservation efforts. For the Bull Creek Preserve, which is the crown jewel of biodiversity in this part of the world, quite literally. Thank you.